Welcome to Pound for Pound ATL, arguably the best place to get facts and opinions on your Atlanta Falcons. And absolutely the best place to get your opinions in. The conversation starts now.
What's going on, football fans? It's me, J.R. Clark, back again with another Pound for Pound ATL Live. Joined by, as always, by my main man, Toby D. Toby, what's going on, brother?
Man, we enjoyed camp yesterday. Got to go to Mercedes-Benz and hang out at the club level. Wasn't prepared for the camera being on us, but hey, however the case, man, had some nice little wings and some Coke Zero, and I was ready to go.
Yeah.
What's up with you?
Yeah, it was a good time last night, and down there, anytime we get to go to the Benz, it's a fun time. Don't get to do it as often as we would like to do it, but hey, we capitalize on the opportunities that we have and the opportunities that we are given, such as last night.
Yeah.
They had an open practice down at the Benz, and me and Toby were down there. We got to shake hands with a good bit of, handful of people, which was really nice to see. If any of y'all have shook your hands in there or are in chat tonight, make sure you shout that out so we can say what's up. But on to, let's not necessarily bury the lead. We put out a video talking about the preseason game, so we'll spend a little bit of time on that. Maybe cover some of the things that we didn't cover in that video. But what were some of the things that stood out to you last night down there at the Benz?
So, looking at 3 practices now, the bunch sets.
Man, come on with it.
I think we're going to see a heavy amount of that, more so than we saw with Matt Ryan last year. We talked about that.
Are you? Would you say we're going to see a bunch of them?
Yeah, a bunch of them.
I couldn't miss up a good opportunity for a pun there. But no, you're right. That's something that we didn't see a ton of last year with Ryan at the helm. But it seemed, we saw a lot last year. Was a lot of 2-man routes and things of that nature. But you're seeing a lot more of that bunch set, a lot more in the practice that we've been to, a lot more 5 wide, which was something that we were successful with last year. Yep. So it's interesting to see them continue to go back to that well. The one thing that I am seeing so far is a lot of versatility out of Parker Hesse, or Heese, or however you want to say his name. Him lining up a lot as fullback or going into tight end. So you're getting a lot of position versatility out of some of your guys out there. And, that can only be a boon for us.
Yeah.
So.
The motion a lot now is starting to look like Arthur Smith offense in Tennessee as far as the motion goes and how he's using personnel. Right. So that's a good thing.
Yes, it seems like Arthur Smith and Dave Ragone are really blending their styles. Me and you had over the offseason had bought a book that was really depicting the 2018 Bears offense, which we felt would be vital to look into because on that staff you had Charles London, you had Dave Ragone, and I think you had Michael Petrie as well, or maybe I'm wrong on that one, but
he came in late.
Okay,
last
right.
Year.
Okay, so you definitely had Ragone and London, so that's a system that they were very familiar with under Matt Nagy. So it was something that we felt like it was interesting to take a look at. And in there, as you rightly pointed out, there was a ton of bunch set formations.
Yeah, a ton. Yeah.
So it's no surprise, and it's something I heard QB coach, or I can't remember, I wish I could remember who said it, made the statement that bunch formations are a QB-friendly type formation that helps them determine where to go with the ball because, somebody's going to tends to pop open because those bunch sets mix well with they create natural rub routes and things like that. So it's designed to get a, person, open. So it makes for an easier read, and it causes more confusion on the defense. So
Right.
with a guy like Mariota, who has had his ups and downs in his career, and you now have a young guy coming in Ritter, it makes no surprise that they are going with more like QB friendly type formations.
Right. Yeah, and you're seeing that too, especially with the amount of
Yes.
pistol formations that we're seeing this year, with Mariota and Desmond Ritter, along with the running backs. Now we saw this slightly with Matt Ryan. I don't know if a lot of people remember, but they lined up in those pistol formations in 2014 under Dirk Cutter. And they also brought a whole lot of bunch sets in 2012 when Dirk Cutter was there and had a lot of success. And
Mm-hmm.
so now you're seeing that kind of come back around with Mariota and Desmond Ritter, getting those bunch sets that they're going to see a lot of, and the continuance of the 5 wide, like you mentioned too,
Right.
as well.
Exactly. Let's take a break for just a second. Bradley Burnett tipped us $10, which we very much appreciate.
Oh, Bradley.
He says, I really feel like Mariota can make a second run with the Falcons, and we can be exciting again this year. Really looking forward to when we have a ton of cap space in 2 years. Well, we got a ton of cap space coming in the next offseason. Next offseason, we're going to have over $100 million in cap space as it stands right now. Now, they may go ahead and decide to lock up guys like A.J. Terrell or who else would they might decide? Like, depending on how, like, Lorenzo Carter plays and stuff like that, we might not have as much when we enter the off season. But going into it, we're scheduled to have a good bit on our books. But as far as Mariota goes, if something me and you were talking about last night, something you have brought up more than once is his the comment that he made about speaking up for himself.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if you so like him saying that one of his biggest regrets in Tennessee was just kind of going with the flow and not really speaking up about what he likes and what he wants to see out of the offense and things of that nature.
Right.
So you can definitely tell that he knows that this is probably his last chance as a starter.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's actually getting another shot, which is not something that happens very often in the NFL. He knows that it's his last chance. So, he's laying it on the line,
Yeah.
and he's trying to, take more command of the offense. And like you see that out there on the field. You see that while they're practicing. If somebody seems to run a route wrong, he's out there, talking with them and trying to figure out like what they see versus what he sees. There have been times at practice that him and Kyle Pitts seem to be joined at the hip,
Mm-hmm.
so which is good, but yes, I definitely feel like there is that's one of the scenarios that you hope for is that that Mariota comes in and locks it up for the next 2 or 3 years for sure.
Yeah, talking about Mariota, he slid last night after a run. He didn't do that in the preseason game, and somebody was making a joke. I guess Arthur Smith got to him
Yeah.
about, hey, dude, look, you need to slide, bro. Don't give all that up in the preseason. This preseason game. I mean, I want you to run, but take care of yourself, protect yourself. So that was interesting to see him sliding last night after a run.
Yes. And, it was good to see, they were, you could definitely tell that they were trying to work on pushing the ball down the field some.
Yeah.
I think it was John Rain with a nice over the shoulder catch. Between working, the deep routes and working those corner routes, we can definitely feel like that there's going to be more of a vertical element to this game than to this offense than there necessarily was last year.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't get too set on a lot of tall wide receivers just yet because Cameron Batson and Demir Bird seem to be starting to get real comfortable, especially Demir Bird now. He's starting to act like he's getting real comfortable with this playbook now and starting to slide in a chance of opportunity with guys like Alden Tate that's kind of slipping into the background. Now, today he had a nice catch in the end zone, but he's been very quiet.
Yeah.
Up to that point.
Yeah, he hasn't made he hasn't made the waves that we necessarily thought that he was going to make coming in. Like he's ran a lot, with the second teams thus far, and when he has had his chances, he hasn't necessarily capitalized on them. Same thing with Geronimo Allison.
Man,
like he's making it, tough for them to want to, keep him on the 53, because he's got a lot of drops, a lot of like just hitting right off his hands, and so these next few games are going to be very important for guys like Tate, like Geronimo Allison, to see like how they end up, like who ends up sticking, because I tell you this, the last 2 practices and the game, like Frank Darby has actually kind of stepped up.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad to see that. He was a guy I felt like early on that he might be on the outside looking in, and he still might be on the outside looking in. He might end up being a practice squad guy, but his play is starting to match his energy, which is nice to see.
Yeah. And I'm glad to see that too, because I mean, for a while I'm thinking he's just gonna be the dancer of the whole thing.
Right. He was just gonna be a cheerleader, hand him some pom poms and let him go stand over there with the cheerleaders. They probably need a good base, to hold him up. He looks strong, so But now, some of the concerns that I've had so far is that it definitely doesn't look like we're getting like real good push. On the from the defensive line. That's like, I don't know if they're still trying to figure out their way with Goldman retiring and Taylor going down. But as of right now, like Lorenzo Carter, I need to see a little bit more out of him. And Ebiketti's getting some decent pressure, but I need those to convert. You want to see that convert. And trying to think. Well, I will say that, all that being said, like Taquan Graham is standing out.
Yeah.
So that's good to see for the second round guy. He flashed again in their offensive line, defensive line drills. Taquan Graham was looking good. They were practicing like the stunts last night, which was good to see.
Yeah, I would like to, I tell you what, Marlon Davidson, it's not looking good for him right now, man. Again, he's missed a lot of time, and Nick Kwiatkowski, whom they signed, formerly of the Chicago Bears, both of those guys could end up getting cut.
Very well could, like especially Marlon Davidson. I think now he has missed a full week of practice.
Yeah, full week.
And so that's not encouraging at all. Like, for a guy who, you were wondering if he was going to finally make, a spot for himself. It looked good at times early on in camp, but now once again dealing with, yet again another undisclosed injury. So I mean, he's a guy that I'm concerned about even making this final 53. With the way Nick the Ladman,
Nick Thurman.
No, not Thurman.
Think about
the Landman. Nick
Landman.
The linebacker out of Colorado.
Yeah.
Like he's looked real well. He showed well in the game against the Lions.
Yeah.
And like me and you were standing down on the field yesterday looking at the linebackers, and holy Pete, those guys, like,
man,
the smallest one is Mykal Walker.
Right. I mean, and them some big guys down there. I was like, whoa, my dude.
Yeah. And then, like, seeing Troy Anderson in person, I really hope that, he can play against the Jets, because I really want to see what he has. But he was out there practicing last night, so hopefully that's a good sign that he'll be playing. But really interested to see, what he looks like in full game speed and, game film. Like, Rashawn Evans looked just absolutely yoked. He put that physicality on display, against the Lions. So you can definitely see why they decided to bring him in. He fills those gaps real well.
Yeah, and it turns out that Michael Walker is going to have the green dot, so that frees up Rashaan Evans to be able to just do his thing now. He doesn't have to really focus on calling in the defense. He can just go and wreak havoc.
That's it.
And he's definitely looking forward to doing that.
Like, even in the linebacker drills that we were watching, that we were like right up on, you could see Walker like getting other guys set. So it really seems like he is taking the lead in that linebacker room. And if and when Debo comes back, I think he's going to be on the outside looking in, even if he's on the squad at all.
I mean, it's possible, though, JR, though, he might be able to swing in there. And it sounds like Arthur Smith, they're not ruling it out, especially if Nick Kwiatkowski can't seem to get healthy.
Right.
And he hadn't really shown enough on film to show that he needs to be on the team. So there might be a spot that they're going to need Deion Jones this year.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's possible.
No, yeah, you're 100% right. It is possible that, depending on when Debo comes back, like what part, because right now he's still on the team. Okay.
Right.
So I know a lot of us are just kind of like foregone conclusion that he's gone or somewhere else. But if and when he does come back, like, how does he fit in this mix?
Yeah.
Does he then get relegated to, because remember last year he wasn't the play caller, it was Foye.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
if he does come back, like, is he relegated to like Michael Walker's role last year, where he's the third linebacker that comes in?
Yeah.
Or does he come in relief of Rashaan Evans when they're trying to do some more, like if the middle of the field's getting eaten up a little bit more? Like, say we're playing a team that doesn't have a great run game, but they have a much better intermediate passing game. Like, do you put Debo and Michael Walker out there on the field together?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, like, when he comes back, how he gets integrated back into the rotation, and if he does make it into the rotation. I don't think you pay him that much money to sit him on the bench if he's healthy.
I mean, it's already been reported they're not going to cut him.
Right.
Because, I mean, what sense would it make? You're not going to save anything but a little over $1 million.
I'm about to say negligible savings. So you might as well, if you're not going to cut him, you might as well play him. And you might as well figure out where you can play him. So it'll be interesting to see how that, transpires, how that keeps going. Now we got to see Isaiah Oliver, like, start to work back in, which that's something I'm excited about, because during the Detroit game, Mike Ford had his ups and downs.
Yes, he did.
So I'm fine that he's getting some, valuable time, but I want my starting rover back. I want my starting star back, which, as much as we have dumped on over the years, as much as we have dumped on Isaiah Oliver, he has found his niche. He has found, like, what he's really good at, and that's that, close to the line, that hybrid role of, linebacker, safety, corner, type deal. And I'm itching to see him, back out there.
Yeah, speaking of that, according to Michael Rothstein, they've been working Isaiah Oliver at safety.
Right.
Some in a couple of practices. Now they also been saying it cross training for injuries or certain packages that they might use. But now that fully integrates him as that true rover role, where he's moving all over the place, playing different positions. Right,
and to me, at least what I've seen from Dean Pease in Tennessee, like, that's a linchpin for his defense.
Yeah.
Is having that rover role where, he can, have that guy drop in and do a myriad of different things. We did a whole video with Cody Alexander talking about, creepers and sim pressures, and, part of being able to do that is having a guy that you can drop into coverage or overload a blitz with while you're dropping a D lineman into coverage. So He is very much a linchpin to the whole shooting match.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, and I know we're gonna get out of the opening salvo, man, but congratulations to Cordell Patterson. I think he made 73 on the top 100, and Pitts made 91. Yep. And man, congratulations to both those guys, man, especially Cordell Patterson, who looked like, just with the little bit he's shown us, he's already ready to be in mid-season form. I'm excited to see him get out there.
He was chucking and jiving last night. Getting in there with that 11-on-11 action. I really liked seeing that 2-back set. With him then motioning out to the slot. That was that has some potential there to really put the defense in compromising situations and making them have to declare what their intents are. So it was good to see him out there, moving and smiling last night. So that will take care of our opening salvos. So let's go ahead and jump into chat here. Dexter Vlash says, "Rise up, P for P family." What's going on, Dexter? Glad you're here. Woom Carter says, "Rise up, Pound for Pound family. Glad to be here on a Tuesday night. Did you guys enjoy the practice?" We did. It was a lot of fun. It was absolutely a lot of fun. Bubba Gump says, "What's up? What's going on, Bubba?" Delray Bellamy says, "What's good, y'all? Y'all are good. Up? That's what's up." Chris Jameson is in here tonight. What's going on, Chris? We already heard from Bradley Burnett and Fred Butt. Fred Butt says, "Loved the offense. Just hope we don't run the ball too much." I don't know what your definition of run the ball too much is, but that's Arthur Smith. He wants to run the ball. So, I don't think we're going to have an air raid offense. So, get used to seeing that ball get run. Ernest Gibson says, "Hey, Pound for Pound, seen y'all at the stadium. Man, glad to see you last night. I seem to remember. I got a bad memory. So, if you saw us and didn't say hey, next time make sure you throw something at us."
Yes, sir.
Tony Wright says, "How's everyone doing on this Tuesday evening?" I think we're doing pretty good, Tony. He says, "Geronimo Allison will not make the cut. It's looking rough, man."
Yeah, man. I hate that too, man.
Yeah, because he's a real good run blocker.
He gets open too, man. The problem is not getting open. The problem is holding on to the ball when he gets open.
Right. Dre Murphy says, "What up, everybody? How we doing and feeling on this Tuesday afternoon? We are feeling great." Atlanta GA Faithful says, "What's up, Pound for Pound? What's going on, brother?"
What's up?
He says, Dre says, "LOL, Frank Darby, the cheerleader." Well, it's what he's been, Tony Wright follows up with the Falcons receivers to make the team. All right, he's got London. Cool, of course. Okay, lock. You ain't going to cut London. Olamide Zaccheaus. Before this, offseason really got kicked off, I might have, argued with you. But sitting here today, no, I ain't going to argue at all. Olamide is a lock. Brian Edwards, I believe Brian Edwards is a lock, at least for this year. They traded, draft asset for him. So they're going to give him a chance to succeed. Tony's got Frank Darby making it. That's a possibility. If Frank Darby's trajectory continues the way it's been, I might actually be on board with you there. Hey, Toby, he's got your boy Jared Bernhardt making the 53. Man,
that's my guy.
Well, with his versatility, what he brings as a special teamer, and if he can continue, making plays like he did in Detroit, very well could. Now, Tony has Alden Tate making it, and that's we're going to see. We're definitely going to see. Let's see. Also, Tony is in rare form tonight, which I love. I love when Tony starts going off, giving me comments after comments. He says, if Marlon Davis misses Monday night's game in New York versus the Jets, he will be released on Tuesday. Enough gold bricking from 90. I don't know if he'll be released, but man, it'd be hard to come back from that, in my opinion. Man. Chris James says, Hodge and Bird could beat out Bernhardt, Tate, and Darby.
Yeah, and I actually don't have Tate making it. I don't have Bernhard, and that's my guy. I definitely think he's a practice squad guy. And I don't have Frank Darby. I got Demir Bird and Cameron Batson. I'm just gonna be honest. Those two guys are starting to sneakily make their way up and taking every opportunity now to make some plays, not only in practice but also in the game.
That's what's going to be like as you get into the Monday night game, as you get into the Jaguars game. Like, who is making plays? Who is consistently making plays? Ernest says, I think they were holding Troy back for the Detroit game. Same with Isaiah keeping a certain look for the season. They never did come out and say why Anderson didn't make the trip. But he definitely didn't look banged up or restricted or anything last night. So who knows? It might be something to that. I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think they'd be holding back a rookie. But I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if he's there on Monday night.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fred thinks Deion Jones will start, period. I don't know, Doc. The longer he's out there, or the longer he is not out there, and the more, because you got to remember, Rashad is a Dean Pease guy.
Yeah.
He fits the mold of what Dean Pease wants. He knows Dean Pease' system. He's had a few years under Pease. So, unless, when he comes back, they think that, he'll be a better version of Mykal Walker. But if they didn't let him call plays last year, not 100% sure they're going to displace Mykal Walker this year.
No. I don't see it. It's possible. I don't see it, though.
I don't either. Tony says, the good thing is that the Falcons are deep at linebacker, inside and out, which is a good problem to have. I've always said that Isaiah Oliver would make for a very good free safety. He's built like Hall of Famer Rod Woodson. I think it's more of a versatility situation. And also, if you got Jalen Hawkins going down, and, you want to have another guy you can throw out there. But that Tez Tabor has looked good in in that safety role. So, might be something to keep an eye on there. Fred says, JR, I think the reason Deion had a down year is because he was injured and had 100 tackles still. Okay, I get you on the 100 tackles part, but you got to remember where those tackles are. Like, if they're 15 yards downfield when they should have been 2 yards, then, it's not necessarily a great play.
Yeah.
Man. But, yes, he was injured last year, but he had a down year the year before as well. So, I'm not trying to get into the bash Deion Jones. I know that's a hot topic on the Twitterverse. But I'm just saying, the longer he's out, the harder it is going to be for him to get back in the rotation, I think.
Yeah.
King Jaffe Joe says, Hells, tell me you watched the Colts game. No knock on Ryan, but I'm happy with our QB situation. I didn't. I wasn't anywhere near the TV when it was on, and I don't necessarily go seek out other teams' preseason games. So I didn't see it, but I did see some people talking about he didn't have that sharp of an outing.
Yeah, I would not be worried about that. I did catch it,
right,
but we got to take into account Matt Ryan did not have all the starters out there either for that first team unit, and rightfully so, because they were playing against second stringers when he did come out there and start. So they weren't really doing anything that was eye-opening. So I can't judge what Matt Ryan did based on that little outing in that first quarter without your starters there. Jonathan Taylor definitely wasn't in the backfield.
Right.
So,
well, there you go.
Yeah.
You had a better opinion on than I did. Dexter says, I'm glad we don't have Dirk-style offense anymore. That man refuses to use a running back. If it was up to him, he wouldn't have any on the roster. I actually kind of agree with you there, Dexter. Dirk Cutter's idea of a run game was run them on 1st and 10 so we could get that out of the way. and get to throwing the ball. So yeah, I'm glad that we seem to have a coach that's more interested in a balanced approach when it comes to the run pass option type stuff. Jerome Wade says, my man D. Alford, I'm not overreacting. He need them third reps and a few second reps. Dude, D. Alford, he's really making a case for himself on the 53.
Yes.
As one of the, reserve corners, because he stays making plays.
He had a great night last night, making some nice plays. This guy, he's very confident right now. And, they say he gave up a play today, but I don't really care because the dude makes more plays than he gives up, and he's very confident with it too. So I think he's making a strong push to get on this roster.
Yes, I agree there. I've enjoyed everything I've seen out of him from the spring practices all the way up through last night. He's definitely making a strong case for himself. Mr. Smith says, run defense was trash. Do you think we'll go out and pick up another DT? We could, but I just don't know who's out there. I know Danny Shelton's back on the market. I know Ndamukong Suh and Sheldon Richardson, but you got to wonder how much gas they got left in the tank kind of deal. So, man, I don't know who's really out there, but I wouldn't be upset if we went out and made some, picked some other guys up and just to give them a go. I know, Timmy Horn looked pretty good against Detroit. Tangelo has looked good in practice. So
Jalen Dalton showed up, and that's who ultimately steal Marlon Davis' job with Jalen Dalton, because they're essentially like similar players playing on the edge and in the middle.
Right.
So Jalen Dalton could be one to take Marlon Davis' job.
He very well could. Very well could. Jerome Wade said it was a hamstring for Anderson. I must have missed that. So let's see. King Jeffy Joe says, I may be blind, but did Troy Anderson? Okay. No, you aren't blind. He wasn't playing. So he didn't travel with the team. Dre Murphy says, I wonder why my boy dog Jalen Hawkins didn't make the trip though. He got banged up. He was back at practice today.
Yeah.
They didn't say what, but he got kind of nicked up a little bit.
Something happened on special teams play.
Right.
Yeah, they got him nicked up a little bit there.
Casey Costa says, I wonder if Isaiah Oliver at free safety signals something about Grant. He missed some tackles against Detroit. I don't think it signals anything about Grant because Grant's been making some plays. I just think it's more about I want you to know what to do here just in case we want to run some different looks. Or like you said, just in case somebody gets hurt.
Yeah.
So Tony says, if we release Marlon Davidson and sign Sheldon Richardson, he can play as David's position as a 3-4 defensive end. I mean, it's possible. But like I said, we're going to have to see what they do there. Because that's kind of like a big, to me, as of right now, you have not went out and replaced the Goldman, Vincent Taylor level of talent that you had.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're just waiting to see if somebody else gets cut. Like the Raiders just released Vernon Butler. So I don't know if that's a guy that you go and try to pick up. So I don't know if that's what you're waiting on to see, who gets cut, who gets released. Do you go trade for a guy? I feel like there's something that they're going to do there. Anthony Rush is getting a lot of shine, and that's encouraging. I know y'all are gonna laugh when I say this, but he was in a video with the head coach. Mm-hmm. They went and sat down and they was talking about food and stuff like that, and it was him. It was it might have been Drake London. I can't remember who else was the other the other player. But, that's important to me. And what I mean by that is, like, when you're putting players, like, in extracurricular stuff like that, the head coach has to make that decision.
Yeah.
The head coach has to say, yeah, he can, yeah, that's fine. He can do that, so to speak. So that speaks volumes about what they think of Anthony Rush. Because Tony follows it up with, and the Falcons should try to sign free agent nose tackle Brandon Williams, who played under Dean Pease. For some reason, I thought Williams signed somewhere, but I could be wrong on that. I actually think I am wrong on that. Let's see. Dre Murphy says, he was talking about he did catch it too, though it's only preseason. Matty Ice gonna be all right. In my Kendrick Lamar voice. All right. Follows it up with, we need to pick up a defensive tackle to give Grady some freaking help in the middle. That's the part I'm afraid of, man. Is we're just gonna go right back to Grady being the only one who the offenses have to worry about. And if that's the case, it's gonna be a long year.
It's gonna be another long year,
right,
man. But Grady Jarrett seems to look like he's willing to do whatever it takes, whether it's taking on double blocks or anything it takes to help his team win. And that looks like another discussion that they had too, with him getting paid the money that they gave him. But man, I don't want to see it be a long year like that for him, man. And he's a good player, and I don't want to see him just relegated to taking on double blocks.
Yeah,
man. Come on, man. That's not really Grady Jarrett, bro.
No, it's really not. Like you want Grady Jarrett penetrating. You want Grady Jarrett slicing into the backfield, getting the tackles for loss, sacks, that kind of stuff. That's what Grady is good at. That's what we need to get him back to, So I agree completely. Like, it bothers. That's one thing so far that bothers me is the fact that they either feel real good about the defensive line that we got, or they feel same thing with the offensive line. They ain't really went out and signed nobody on the offensive line, and Jalen Mayfield continuously gets blown up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he got blown up again yesterday. I put that clip out on Twitter that got over 4,000 some odd views. That, Jalen Mayfield, I think it was the Dalton that did it. Like, Jalen Mayfield just absolutely got wrecked. If that was live action, the quarterback would have been sacked right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been because of Jalen Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Nick says Ritter should have been 18 for 22. Maybe he had some drop passes, but he also had a interception call back and another interception drop. So might want to be careful with the should-haves. Should have been.
See, this is another reason with the quarterbacks we got. Don't be counting on 300 yards passing from these guys unless they're just having a great day that day. Everything just going their way. These guys, you do not want to put them in a situation where they're throwing that ball more than 25 times a game, because they will start making some serious mistakes that you do not want them doing. You want to be able to run that ball at least almost an average of 25 to 30 times a game, if you can, to keep those guys from getting exposed with throwing the ball a lot.
Right. Exactly. That is definitely, like, that's the recipe that Arthur Smith had success with Tannehill. Anytime they had to rely on Tannehill for 30 plus passes a game, it wasn't very good. So, we want to make sure that that's where we're at in that 20-25 pass range. That's what you're looking for. I mean, realistically, even though it was only 10 for 22, but 22 passes, that's what you're, that's about what you want.
Yeah.
Let's see. Daryl Dre says, okay, thank you so much for that information on Jalen. Let's see. Fred says, y'all the best. Thank you for reading comments and not just talking. Hey, man, that's what, look, at the end of the day, this is what we're here for.
Hey,
right?
We live by get your opinions heard.
That's it.
Man.
I mean, if I wanted to just talk to Toby, I'd just pick up the phone and call him. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole point of this is, like, we chat and we chat with y'all. That's the main drive by this. Jolt Gaming says, hey, P4P, just stopping by to say hi and show love. I'll catch the replay tomorrow at work. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you
All
stopping
right,
by.
man. Appreciate you.
Let's see. Tony says that Tony, like I said, he is on a roll tonight. He says,
You know it. That's our man.
I said, hey, man, I'm down with it. So Tony says the Colts' first draft pick was in the second round, as they didn't have a first. Yep. And they drafted Alec Pierce.
Alec
Yeah,
Pierce,
exactly. Oh, okay. He's all right. I missed the first comment Tony had. This will make this next comment make sense. The Colts will be fine. They have the best O-line of football, the best running back in football, one of the best two running backs in football, and an all-pro at defensive tackle and outside linebacker and DN and two Pro Bowl corners. Yeah, I think they'll be fine. And plus, you also got to figure anybody who's wanting to dump on Ryan for what amounted to about 5 or 6 plays, to my understanding, like, this is, for him, this is the first time being out on the field with these guys, like in live action. So, who knows? Donald Farrell says, what do y'all think about Timmy Horn? I like Timmy Horn. I don't know if he's ready for like a full gig, full-time starting, but I like Timmy Horn. There was something that somebody said that really stuck out to me, and that was this year's draft class had about 2,000 draftable players, which is a lot more than a normal draft class does. And this was a holdover from the COVID stuff, right?
Yep.
So guys who went in the, who went undrafted would have been like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round guys.
Yeah.
Because you had a lot more 2nd, 3rd round guys. And, we saw that with Perion Winfrey falling like a rock like he did.
Man, didn't he though?
Right, because you had that big run on wide receivers. So, if Perion Winfrey fell like he did, if Travis Jones fell like he did, like it wouldn't be that big of a shock that, a guy like Timmy Horn last year could have been a 5th round guy or even a 6th round guy. And then it wouldn't be as far-fetched to think, a 6th round defensive tackle making some waves or a 5th round a la Grady Jarrett, So I'll be interested to see if, if he can continue to make plays, if he can continue to turn heads, because that may be why they're holding off on going out and signing somebody. They may be feeling good about the Daltons and the Timmy Horns and the Derek Tangelos. So
we shall find out, man, if that is the case.
Yeah.
Only time will tell.
Yeah, I feel like we have said that statement 100 million times.
Right.
This we shall see the Falcons 2022. Let's see. Jamal Huggins says, I'm ready to beat the Panthers. Should have been a sweep last season. I think we can, we should be in the mix in the division.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be as crazy to say that we can hang with the Bucks. Unless Father Time really catches up with Brady and Jones and, a handful of those other guys. But I'll just say right now, one preseason in, I say the Bucks win the South. But we should be in that mix. You know what I'm saying? You got a new head coach down there in New Orleans. You're going in the first time in forever without, the offensive genius Sean Payton, calling the shots and calling the plays.
Yeah.
So, and you have, right now, as far as I know, Jameis Winston the last few weeks hasn't been practicing. You've been out there with Andy Dalton. So, it's going to be, there's no guarantee there what that's going to look like.
Right.
Now, it sounds like Slant King Michael Thomas is back in full effect. And it sounds like Kamara isn't going to be disciplined this year.
Yeah.
So it looks like we are going to have to deal with those pieces. And that defense has still got some pieces. They lost, but I mean, they're trying to figure out what their left tackle situation is like because Armstead isn't there anymore.
Right.
So they got a lot of question marks. And then you go up 85 to the Carolinas, and they got a ton of question marks. Like, is that coach even going to make it to the bye week?
Right.
You know? So we should be in this mix for the NFC South.
Yeah.
Like, I know, I'll tell you this. I feel better after the Detroit game than I did this time last year. Okay? And the fact that the O-line didn't give up a single sack, you know, that's probably more to a testament of the, like, movability of the quarterbacks, but still.
Yeah.
They didn't give up a sack. So that's a plus from where we were at this time last year. And they scored 3 less points than they did the entire preseason last year. Now, what does that translate into? I have no clue. But I will say I feel better right now than I did last year. So that's something. I still, like, all I'm really looking for is them to be more competitive than they were last year.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like Hennessy's probably going to win that starting center job again because we've been seeing Dahlman with the second string guys, and Hennessy continues to get the first team reps.
I'm trying to be more positive here, Toby, and then you just go.
I mean, I just had to
like,
put it out there, man.
I'm over here flying around in my blimp, and you over here taking shots at me, trying to bring.
I'm just saying, man. I was hoping to give it to Dahlman, but Dahlman can't seem to beat the second stringers, and that's not good.
No. Dahlman definitely. It does seem like Hennessy's got that locked up. Somebody I think it was Chris Jameson, made a comment about J.C. Treader. Yeah, I still don't get that one. Like, I still don't understand why you're not calling this guy. You know, why ain't you got him in? He's sitting out there in the wind. And
yeah.
But I think that has a lot to do with the fact that he's the NFLPA president. And, you know, you don't necessarily
conflict of interest there. They don't want that.
Don't want that in their building, so to speak. Let's see. Mr. Smith says, most definitely appreciate y'all, one of the best on the platform. Well, we thank you. We're glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Jeffrey Lowe says, I love Pound for Pound down here in Columbus, Georgia. Oh, man.
That's right.
Appreciate you taking the time to listen to us talk. Let's see. Nick says he loves having a mobile QB again. Through a game, that's been nice. Like, it allows you to really move that pocket and move that launch point and keep that defensive line guessing.
Yeah.
Eric thinks that the Colts will win the Super Bowl. That's a tough division to have to go through. That AFC, I don't know. That's a tough one to go. Dre Murphy says, JR, your boy Quadre Olson looked freaking good running that ball Friday night.
Yeah,
man.
we're going to get to talking about him.
He was, him and Tyler Algier looked good. Matter of fact, like, other than Caleb Huntley, like, Damon Williams looked pretty good. He still showed he got that speed.
Yeah.
Quadre looked real good running hard. And Algier showed you that physicality that they were wanting. Yeah. So, and he had a couple nice runs. So right now, I'm pretty happy with the way the run game looks.
Yeah.
Best asked, do you think Atlanta has a good chance of a bowl? Not this year, they don't. I mean, like, this could be the first step in what could eventually be a Super Bowl, but not this year. Like, I know, I get it, the Colts or the Bengals, nobody saw the Bengals last year, but the Bengals at least had a absolute dominant wide receiver in Jamar Chase. And they went out and spent a lot of money on that defensive line.
Yeah.
And so we didn't do none of that. Like, we hope Drake London comes in and is dominant, but we're not 100% sure yet, right?
Nope. Not yet.
Let's see. Wallace Smith says, what's good, Pound for Pound? What's good, man?
What's up?
Glad to see you in here tonight. Mr. Smith says, y'all seen that guy who bet $2K on us today in Vegas to go 0-6 in the division? Man, I could have come up with a better way to spend $2,000. Shoot.
They could have gave that to me.
Let's see. Dre says, JR, Coach Lowe, I think he's talking about Big Lowe, you said on his show, we shall see is the saying for this year, though. That's it. Yep, we shall see. That is the motto for the 2022 Falcons. We shall see. Let's see. Fred Butt says the Falcons are going to win the NFC South because nobody expects us to. Who knows? Who knows?
Hey man, that would be great.
Oh, dude,
that
hey,
really would.
I'd love it.
That
I
really
love.
would.
Look, I love nothing more than to talk about winning football.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we had so much fun talking about and we're still talking about beating Detroit in a preseason game. Winning football games is fun, folks.
Yeah,
like
it is.
Straight up and down. Tony says the reason why JC's still on the market is he's got 2 bad knees. Okay. Maybe that's what it is. I haven't really looked into it. That. I just know it was a few years back when what was it? I could see the guy's face. The old PA president.
Oh,
I
forgot his name, but Wentworth.
Whitworth?
No,
not Whitworth.
Oh man, not Wentworth.
It was like
he used to play for Kansas City Chiefs too.
Right.
Anyway,
he sat out on the market that year for a long time too, and he finally got signed. So I don't know. Our good buddy King 7, he says AK is going to be that dude. AK looks good. I just need him to convert. He says, next year we need a lot of money on the O and D line. Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Big Mel says he likes D. Alford. Yeah, I really like D. Alford. Robinson says, y'all think London or Pickens is getting Offensive Rookie of the Year? Depends. I think both of those guys have a real good chance. Honestly.
Yeah.
If Drake is able to come in and play a full season without any issues, I think he's going to have some real good production. I mean, just look at what Pitts did last year as a rookie, right?
Right.
And I think there's a real good chance that, because if Jamar Chase hadn't been to the Bengals, Pitts would have been Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
So, I think Drake London has a real good shot. Let's see. Okay. Tony Wright says D'Angelo Malone is going to be that dude also. Stay tuned. He's flashed. He closed that door. He slammed that door shut a handful of times at training camp and was making some good plays in Detroit.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jake Mizell says, can't wait to go back-to-back tailgates plus wins with UGA and the Falcons. My liver might not recover. Drink responsibly, Jack. I don't want nobody's liver going down this early in the season, right? We got a long season to get through. Let's see. Okay, I think we have caught up with chat. Toby, was there anything else you wanted to get to?
Man, I think we about uncovered everything, man. I'm just excited to see them Monday night and see what they're gonna do. Can they continue to winning streak? And I know it's preseason, but hey, it's exciting to get a win. Period, man. We don't win a lot. So.
That's right. That's right. And we're definitely not going to see Zach Wilson. With that bone bruise, he's getting that surgery done. So should be a heavy dose of Joe Flacco. So that'll be good for second stringers if they have to end up dealing, playing against Joe Flacco. You're playing against somebody with some experience. So and plus they got a pretty good defensive line. So we should get another decent test if our offensive line is going to be able hold up, or if our quarterbacks are just surviving purely off of running around and moving the pocket.
Yeah, true.
Donald Farrell says, "What about Auden Tate? Haven't heard much. There ain't much to talk about."
Ain't much to talk about with him, man.
That's the problem right now. There ain't much to talk about. Would love to be talking about Auden Tate. He was going to be part of our basketball team, but he don't seem to be able to crack the first team. Let's see. Who y'all think will be tight end 2? Well, we know it ain't Tucker Fisk.
No.
He got released today. I would go ahead and just put out Ferkser. A guy.
Yeah,
A guy asked us that at the stadium last night, and I'm just going to go ahead right now and just pencil in Ferkser. It'll be a combination between him. I think you're going to get with what we have seen out of Hesse. I keep going back to him just because of the fullback ability that he presents.
Yeah.
Like he might be on par with Ferkser as far as the snaps go, and that just may be because he's lead blocking.
Yeah, possible.
Let's see. Oh man, King says, "Do y'all know? Do you know if you talked about how the O looked good in that preseason game?" The LO. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out what you're saying here, King. My boy, he said, "My boy be playing for his life." I'm trying to figure out if he's talking about if Ryan was back there, because if that's the case, I don't talk about other people that ain't on our team, King. I got to be nicer to King this year. Because, see, I done seen King. He's a big dude. And if he sees me again, he might pop my head. You know what I'm saying? This is self-preservation. No, I don't know what you're trying to say there, King. He's saying Olsen looked good. Yes, Olsen did look good. He is playing for his roster spot for sure.
Yeah.
Especially a guy that's already been cut once by the team. So, yeah, he knows ain't nothing guaranteed for him. Dre says that he hates that we have to wait till Monday night. Me and you both. I'd much rather it be, Friday or Saturday. That would have been great. Let's see. Dre says, "I totally agree with JR. Thank you for agreeing with me. I'm not going to read anymore." I'm just kidding. He says 100% on the tight end 2, though. Yeah, I think it's going to be Ferkser. They brought in Michael Pruitt, so it'll be interesting to see if he can carve him out a spot. So,
yeah.
All right, we'll wrap up or start to wrap up here. Got a question from Tony, and then we'll take one from Mark. Tony Rice says, "Question for JR and Toby. I am seeing around the league that a lot of bookends on the defense. So my question is, will we see teams counter in the offense by playing 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end, 1 running back sets?" Okay. I'm trying to figure out, like, you're talking about like a lot of bookend rushers. Yeah, that was something that if you go back and watch that Cody Alexander video we did, he said something that the offenses are now trying to counterpunch the defense's counterpunch of being a nickel. And they're doing that with the 2 tight end sets, with the condensed formations, with the 2 back sets. They're going bigger. But the caveat is they're going bigger and still passing out of it. That's the kind of wrinkle, right? Is that you have 2 tight ends out there, or you have 2 backs. But now all these players are so versatile that you're able to split a Cordell Patterson out. You're able to bring in a John Rain, or not John Rain, but a Hesse as a fullback.
Yeah.
You're able to use this traditional run set and do a lot more out of it.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, we saw a lot of installation of 22 personnel, 2 running backs and 2 tight ends, something we had success with last year. up until we got down to the end, because I think you didn't have another capable running back. We wanted that in Mike Davis to pair with Cordero, but I think this year you're going to see that 22 personnel rise up even more because of the versatility that we have at running back and tight ends this year.
I completely agree on that. Jack Mizell just tipped us $20, which we appreciate greatly, Jack.
Ooh, Jack.
He says, "Great show. Thanks for the content." Hey, thanks for being here.
Appreciate
like
you,
straight
man.
up.
Appreciate that.
Like we appreciate y'all being here. Let's see. Tony says, yeah, like next Monday, the Jets will have Carl Lawson on one side and Jermaine Johnson on the other. Yeah, exactly. They got two fire breathers, and we're going to see how Caleb McGarry handles Jermaine Johnson, a guy that we wanted here in Atlanta. So, yeah, that's going to be, we shall see, as we say.
We shall see, Doc.
Let's see. Mark says, do y'all trust our safeties? We're going to have to right now. And I don't say that flippantly. Like, you spent a second-round pick on Richie Grant. You spent I think it was a fourth-round pick or fifth-round pick on Hawkins. Or it might have been.
I can't remember.
I can't remember what it was now. Anyway, you got to see what you got in these guys.
Yeah.
You know, so I like Hawkins a lot. And I think Grant's going to take that step forward. Like, he's making some plays in camp. And, like, yes, you're still going to have some growing pains because his time starting last year was in the nickel.
Yeah.
So, don't necessarily look at Richie Grant as, like, a second-year guy. He's a first-year starter at safety. So, I think, I think that both of those guys are going to be, I think they're going to be fine. You're going to have some hiccups, but I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you guys, Marketh Miller says, do you guys like what you saw from Desmond Ridder? Yes. I would love to have been a little bit more efficient, like with his completion percentage. 10 for 22 isn't great, but he did have some drop balls, but for his first action, his first live action in the NFL, I think he handled himself well. You saw real good composure. You saw real good command of the huddle and command of the offense with change of plays. Like, if I'm not mistaken, you correct me if I'm wrong here, Toby, but he adjusted the coverage on that 4th and 9.
He did, because they saw it the first time in the court, and they actually got to him the first time.
Right.
And so when he saw that look again, he was able to adjust it and get Tyler Algier over there to pick up that blitz the second time around. So
exactly.
That is a great sign from your quarterback when they're able to make those adjustments after seeing something
one time or 2 times.
Seeing that. Yeah.
So yes, right now, like, I don't know if I necessarily need Ridder starting this year, but I'm like what I've seen so far from camp and from the first preseason game. King says, I think Marlowe is starting over Hawkins, right? No, I think Hawkins is going to be starting.
Yeah, it's Hawkins and Grant show.
It's Hawkins and Grant show. Marlowe is there, and Tez Tabor is there for backups.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. Well, I think that's about it, man. We have bumped up over an hour. And, so, man, I appreciate y'all so much. Appreciate y'all greatly. As always, y'all can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128, GRIMM1128. Toby?
Toby D 1991, baby.
And, hey, Patreon if you want it. Merch links if you want it. I think that's really about it as far as that kind of stuff goes. Keep your eye on the channel. We'll be, for the most part, we should be going live every Tuesday now. As we go on, we might take a break. Isn't there like a 2-week period from the last preseason to the first game? So we might take a break in there again. But we will be live next week or out next Tuesday for sure. So keep an eye out there, and just keep your eye on the channel for videos that pop up here and there. So we appreciate you folks, and as always, Falcons fans, rise up.
Rise up.